And once more, dear friends, we are going into the breach. Oh, you're Catholic? Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Frontline with Joe and Joe. You acted like an American. Okay, now there's a number of different things that have to be done in this country to change the culture, which will in turn change the politics.
And the culture's a swamp. Because that is not a Catholic teaching.
Right.
And the cafeteria is closed, my friend.
Yeah. Joe Pasillo, joined as always by Joe Resinello. And once more, dear friends, we are going into the breach. He tells the truth, just like we do at the Frontline with Joe and Joe on Sunday nights, 8 o'clock, Facebook Live. We got a great show for you tonight because, as we always say, the left is teeing it up for us, and we're Barry Bonds standing at home plate, ready to knock their lies right into San Francisco Bay. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Frontline with Joe and Joe. Joe Pasillo, joined as always by Joe Resinello. And once more, dear friends, on Facebook on Sunday night at 8:30? 8:30.
Yeah, we're a little bit late.
Sorry. We are going into the breach with a lot of great topics to talk about. We say great, we use that word loosely because most of this stuff gives us agita. But we want to thank you all, and please like us and follow us on Facebook. Share our page with your friends and family if you like what it is that we do. And also, please subscribe to Holy Faith Media on YouTube, which not only produces our show, but pulls a lot of great content and puts it on there. A lot of people talking about a lot of the same things, which are things that we all need to be concerned with in this country. So we want to thank you all. We want to throw a special shout out to Jonathan Ross at Holy Faith Media, who produces our content. We want to also give you a heads up that we now have a weekly show on Monday nights from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, thanks to Mike Church down in Louisiana, who runs the Crusade Channel. And the Crusade Channel is a great channel for all you radio lovers out there with a great lineup. You got himself, Mike Church, Rick Barrett. You have Tim Gordon, his brother Dave, Rules for Retrogrades. A lot of great shows on there. It's old school radio. It is a subscriber-based channel. They're doing a 30-day free subscription. And as Joe and I always say, if somebody's wants to sell you a product and they're letting you try it out for free before you have to buy it, I think that person is very confident in what they're trying to sell you. So I would definitely check that out. You can find us on there and a lot of other great content. So we want to thank Mike Church, and we also want to thank Joe Campo over in Brooklyn, who always has our back. So having said all that, let's go into the breach.
All right. We're going to start with last Sunday. While you all were watching the Frontline with Joe and Joe and not watching the Academy Awards.
Not watching. Don't worry. Nobody else was either. But
exactly. You were not alone because no one was watching the Academy Awards. This year's show drew only 23.6 million viewers. It was on ABC. It is a new low for Hollywood's biggest night. The award show saw a decrease in 20% from last year's show, which brought in 29.6 million viewers. And the previous low was from 2018. That drew 26.5 million viewers.
At one point when I used to watch the Academy Awards back in the day, I haven't watched it in years. And many people know I've said on the show that in another life, I wanted to be an actor. I was actually a very good actor, and I love movies. I don't watch many movies anymore, mostly because I think they insult all of us with their trash. And I used to watch the Academy Awards, and if I have my numbers right, at one point at its peak, the Academy Awards drew over 100 million viewers. They're down to 23 million. They're down to 23 million. And rightfully so. And Joe's going to talk about why.
Well, one of the highlights of the awards came before and after it, and it comes from our friend Ricky Gervais. He had more things to say.
Well, Joe, you used the word "our friend" a little loosely, but go ahead.
I know he's off the hook, but he's funny.
He's spot on. He's spot on with this. I don't agree with Ricky Gervais probably on anything, particularly his aggressive atheism. But having said that, he's right about this.
Basically what he did, he trolled Hollywood celebrities just hours ahead of the Sunday award show, and this is what he basically said. He was deflating their self-important acceptance speeches. This is what he said regarding progressive views on migrant workers, noting that many celebrities employ migrants in their homes to perform menial and back-breaking work.
One is reminded of the Cabana Boy.
So he says, I can't wait to hear all your inspirational speeches about equality. And it's great that the 3 hours you're here tonight is only time your badly paid migrant house staff will get some time off to sleep this week. He went on, it's great to see such diversity in the room tonight. Rich sex pests of all shapes and sizes. Love it. He wasn't finished. After the Academy Awards, he had some more comments, and this is what he said regarding the stars who had to basically pontificate on politics and the environment.
They just can't help themselves.
He said, I have nothing against most famous people in the world using their privilege and global platform to tell the world what they believe. And I even agree with most of it. I just tried to warn them that when they lecture everyday hardworking people, it has the opposite effect. Yes, it's annoying when people don't listen to our lectures, even though we're celebrities. How dare they? But that's what happens. That's all I'm saying. You see, he gets it. Sadly, the people in CNN don't. Like Don Lemon.
Is it again? We're gonna rehash this controversy. It's Lemon. I don't know where it became Lemon.
Oh my.
Okay. Somebody at a cocktail party said, you know, you shouldn't use the name Lemon. We should just call you Lemon. And he said, oh, that sounds good. It's Lemon. Go ahead.
The more you insult the hardworking people of America and chuckle and snicker to yourselves, the more the orange man is going to kick your behind.
That's right. Can I chime in there? Go ahead. No, you're about to finish your point.
That's just it. It just comes down to that.
Let's take this from a purely strategic point of view. Hollywood and the Academy want to corrupt our culture. That is a fact. Okay? When we see the progression of Hollywood from the late 1960s to now, it has devolved into a cesspool of gratuitous violence, just rampant pornography. One needs to only look at the movie Monsters Ball to understand how important it is for them to keep porn in movies, okay? Profanity and blasphemy, all the things that under the production code prior to 1965 were basically, Hollywood was told by Catholics in America, we won't see your movies if any of this stuff is in there. And Hollywood complied. Now, what we've seen is after the production code was broken, Hollywood has devolved into this cesspool of all these things. Just got progressively worse. Started with violence in The Wild Bunch and The Godfather, where the violence became very graphic. Foul language really started to come on strong in 1972 with Serpico. I could go on about this, okay? Culminating in with, let's say, Quentin Tarantino's laced with all violence and all gratuitous language, okay, profanity. And then you have the sex. You have Brokeback Mountain. You have Monsters Ball, a relatively good movie with a good script, with a porn scene between Billy Bob Thornton and Halle Berry thrown right into the middle of it. That was the purpose of that movie, by the way, was to film a porn scene with Billy Bob Thornton and Halle Berry. The rest of the story be damned. My point, and from a purely strategic point of view, think of it this way. If I'm in the Academy and I say, yeah, but I want to corrupt our culture, because these are evil people. I want to corrupt our culture. I would tell all these political pontificators that got up to win an award, shut your mouth. Don't you understand? We want to nominate Brokeback Mountain. We want to nominate Monsters Ball. We want people to see them. If people don't watch the Academy Awards because you're being political, they're not going to go see those movies because they won't know about them. So shut up. You see, from a strategic point of view, you'd still have 50, 60, 70 million people watching the Academy Awards. And when Brokeback Mountain wins the Academy Award, they'll say, honey, we should go see Brokeback Mountain. It's about those two gay guys, you know, and all that. All right. But when people don't tune into the Academy Awards, then they're going to see a lot less of the trash. Because, by the way, the Academy Awards is really the only place you'll see a lot of the trash, because most of these movies suck. Okay. Most of these movies are not movies people want to see. Okay, and it won't be promoted to them. So from a strategic point of view, what Hollywood actors and producers and directors and all these people like Joaquin Phoenix and the rest of them are trying to do, which is corrupt the culture, they shoot themselves in the foot. Because if you want to promote an agenda, you need people to listen to you. And if you keep going on the way you are, your ratings are going to continue to go even lower from 23 million, down from the 100 million it was 20 years ago. PM just chimed in, said he stopped watching the Academy Awards years ago, maybe going back to 2002. Me too, PM. And I'm a movie lover. I love quoting movies. I quote them all the time on the show. But like I said, are these people who try to pretend we're all stupid? I would say, you're stupid? I can have all that trash peddled out to the American people. I'll tell Brad Pitt and the rest of them, shut your mouth. We want people to watch. That's what they should do.
So since we're on Academy Awards in Hollywood, I have some wisdom to impart to you from our dear friend Alec Baldwin.
Oh, no.
He's one of my favorite people who suffer from the Trump derangement syndrome. Him and Rob Reiner. They usually, you want to follow some good humor, along with the Iron Sheik, by the way. Big fan of the Sheik.
Big fan of Sheik.
Watch him too. But in terms of those who suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, Baldwin is the tops. And this is what he had to say this week. He said, the U.S. government is as lawless a dictatorship as Nazi Germany.
Little hyperbole there.
I'll quote it exactly. He said, it's official. The United States government is as lawless as the dictatorships we've hated in our foreign policy since World War II. Put that little gem with another one he said in August. This one's great. Baldwin wildly claimed that the Russians control everything and that the Russians killed Epstein.
I didn't hear that.
They're in charge of everything now. That's what he said.
Right. Putin is in charge of everything right now.
Disturbed.
Right.
This man is disturbed. Seriously disturbed. Him and Rob Reiner. Follow what those loons have to say. Seriously. This is what this group of people, it takes away their hatred of Donald Trump, takes away all their common sense, all their logic, all they know is hate, and the Russians are now in charge.
The Russians are in charge, but you can't point to that in your own life, okay? Here at the front line with Joe and Joe, 8 o'clock Sunday nights on Facebook Live, you can't point to that in your own life. You say, you know what? Donald Trump's brought jobs back. I don't know. Does Putin want us to have jobs? Donald Trump has spent more money on the military, rebuilt our military. Do the Russians want to have that? Donald Trump is promoting federalism, all right, and states' rights. So does Putin want that? Donald Trump is the most pro-life president in our lifetime. I don't know. Is that part of the Russian agenda? I don't get it. I don't get it. What puppet of Russia? I'll tell you who felt like a puppet of Russia, or at least the communists, even though they weren't around at the time, was Barack Obama. He was the imposer. He was the one who tried to attack the Catholic Church and the Little Sisters of the Poor and impose Obamacare and not carve out exemptions for religious organizations who were opposed to sterilizations and abortifacients. That's real oppression. That's real government coercion. Where's the coercion coming from Donald Trump? Who the hell is he thrown in jail? Who is he, let's say, sent to the American gulag doing Putin's bidding? Who? You, Rob Reiner? If he was really an authoritarian, Rob Reiner, your head would be on the chopping block. So would yours, Alec Baldwin. He hasn't taken away your right to free speech. Doesn't even, and what really bothers is you, Donald Trump doesn't really care about you one little bit. What bothers you, though, is that he cares about us. That's what really bothers you. You hate the fact that he cares about us because you hate us. Why don't you want to stop lying? You hate Trump because you hate us. And you paint him to be these things that is demonstrable. I mean, it's on its surface. Like they say in court, it's prima facie. Okay, on its surface, it's absurd. And you just show people how insane you are. That's all you do. And you people are truly insane. Let's give a couple, Joe, can we give a couple shout outs? We got Jessica Frayne here. My baby's out there. John's joining. John Silverman. PM, hey, J&J, what's up, PM? Aldo's with us. Arvin, greetings, gentlemen. Greetings to you, Arvin. Joe Campo over in Brooklyn. Joe. No, but he's not in Brooklyn. He's in Wyoming. He's probably promoting one of his movies. So thank you, Joe. And Siobhan from Brooklyn is with us. Then we got Ron Singh, James Collins, Timmy Gallagher, Vinny. What's up, Vinny Spinella over in Brooklyn, Tommy Bradley, and Veronica Stopper. All, I think, new to the program. Welcome, all of you. Thank you for joining us here at the front line with Joe and Joe. So on Hollywood hypocrisy and insanity, Where are we going next?
We're going to go to a voice crying out in the wilderness.
Oh,
and
no.
this is coming from Hollywood.
Uh-oh.
This is actress Patricia Heaton
Oh,
from
okay.
Everyone Loves Raymond. She had something interesting to say this week. She tweeted it, and I'm going to read it to you. This is what she said. I don't understand why pro-life people want to know if they are welcome to join the Democratic Party. As you all know, Patricia Heaton, she was the wife of Raymond on Everyone Loves Raymond. She was also on the ABC hit The Middle. This is what she goes on. She says, why would any civilized person want to support a barbaric platform that champions abortion for any reason through all 9 months funded by taxpayers? Let me just repeat that for a moment.
Please do, Joe.
She said, why would any civilized person want to support a barbaric platform that champions abortion for any reason through all 9 months funded by taxpayers? I think she's listening to our show.
She might be. Patricia Heaton may be watching the front line with Joe and Joe clandestinely, of course. She doesn't want to let anybody know that you know, she's actually a fan. I know you don't like that word. She's a fan of ours, okay? But I'll tell you what, I've been a fan of Patricia Heaton for a long time. Not because I've never been a big TV watcher. I just never have been. And she's made her bones and her career on television, okay? But I've followed her for years. A bold woman. You said voice crying out in the wilderness. Hollywood is a wilderness. There's no escaping that. You know that that's true. The place is what T.S. Eliot would call the wasteland, okay? It is the epitome of the wasteland. There are no original ideas coming out of there, whereas 50, 60 years ago there were. There was good art coming out of Hollywood before the production code, and even after the production code, there's been good movies. Patricia Heaton has been countercultural and has made it.
Well, she has 5 kids. 5 or 6
and
kids.
again, that makes her countercultural right there. But she's always been pro-life and outspokenly so. She proves that you will not ruin your life and your career if you stand for the truth and say, I defend life in the womb. She always has been, God bless her.
But she also
always.
She also went on, and I want to dissect this comment as well. Basically what she said too, she said, P.S. I didn't vote in the last presidential cycle, and I will not be voting in this one. I am not a Trump supporter. Now, we can dissect that a little bit. One, she's entitled to her opinion.
Sure.
And to be honest with you, I am not a Republican. I am a Catholic, and I am an American. I don't look left or I don't look right. I look up. And if a Republican was for baby killing up to 9 months, which she was saying, and she's 100% accurate, and frankly, every single one of the Democrats on that issue alone should be disqualified. And I've said this on other shows. If a person told me I am for slavery and had everything right, you're disqualified.
Right.
You're disqualified.
Right.
I'm not voting for you.
If you're right on every single
thing,
issue.
and you said, but I'm for slavery. Disqualified.
Off the ticket.
If you're going to tell me that you can abort a child in the 9th month, you're disqualified.
Right.
And every single one of the current Democrats, let me repeat that, every single one,
including Joe Biden,
is for that.
That's right. Is for that.
Disqualified.
Now,
they should get not a single vote.
That's right.
0. Let's not even talk about winning the election. Based on that fact alone, you should not get a single vote.
That's right.
Because it's barbaric, and she nailed it right on the head.
That's right. And Joe made a good point. Now, everybody knows Joe and I are abolitionists. We want abortion to be abolished in America. But even so, 21 million pro-life Democrats are expected to vote for a party says there's no restrictions. In New York State, Governor Cuomo, if you want to call him a governor, we're going to call him what Bob Grant calls his father. He is the sfacim di tutti sfacim, is what he is. Okay? That's what he is. And he's a murderous one on top of it, like his father. Okay? Because this guy legalized abortion right up to the day before the baby's born. Joe went into it on a couple of our other shows and basically said that even a non-medical practitioner, an unlicensed person can perform that abortion. It's barbaric. Even if in your mind you can't see that even first trimester abortions are an intrinsic evil, and always evil. They're intrinsically evil, so they're always evil. Even if you can't see that, do these Democrats, do they really believe that any one of those 21 million people is going to vote for them, when every one of them, including Mr. Moderate, Joe Biden, is such a moderate, okay? There's nothing moderate about him, because he's now gone completely to the devil. He's already sold his soul years ago, where he was moderate on abortion. I don't think that he ever was. Now he is completely gone to the devil.
And know this, you pull that lever for a Democrat, that's what you support.
That's right.
Know it.
And it doesn't matter whether you say that if you say, and all you Democrats out there who think, along with Bishop McElroy out in California, that in other words, that abortion is not the preeminent issue of our time, you have your head up your you-know-what, and I'm sorry if Joe and I are sounding a little bit insulting. This is the preeminent issue of our time. The Republican Party was founded on the preeminent issue in the middle of the 19th century, which was slavery. It was an anti-slavery party. And the Republican Party needs to become, Joe and I were talking about it today, we need to be the mirror on the other side. The left says no restrictions on abortions. We need to be, the Republican Party needs to be the party of abolition. The newest manifestation of evil in the modern world. It was slavery, now it's abortion. We need to be the party of abolition. Donald Trump looks like he's raring to go on that. He's putting judges in place that seem to be sympathetic towards that view, and we need to get on board. Let's make the argument. Joe Resinello and I said it before on Facebook Live at the Frontline with Joe and Joe. When they call you an extremist for being an abolitionist, say yes, but you are too. Here's the difference to anybody who wants to listen. Your extremism leads to death. Our extremism leads to the preservation of life. You go do with that whatever you want. But if you want to buy into that extremism, remember, like Joe said, the blood of those babies is on your hands because you voted for them. And that's the argument we have to make to these people. Don't let them bully us. Don't let them come on the offensive against us. When they say, I'm pro-choice, you're for baby killing. Let's go on the offensive. No, I'm just pro-choice. No, yeah, you're for baby killing. See, that's going on the offensive. Force them to stutter. Force them to have to figure out what it is that they think. Bully them a little bit. They do it to you. Do it back. The difference is you'll be doing it with the truth. And that's the truth.
And you might be hated because of it, so be it.
Well, Patricia Heaton is showing, and that's why Joe brought her up, that there's a heroic virtue there. She knows she could have lost her career. Remember, she's been outspokenly pro-life for a very long time. Not just now that she's made millions of dollars, a very long time. She showed that you could stand up for the truth and still have your career. God bless her. So anyway, let's give a quick shout out. Maureen's joining. Thanks, Maureen. Catherine Sue joined. How you doing, Catherine? Barbara, love Barbara. Chris Farley's sister, the SNL actor. Barbara loves the show, and we thank you, Barbara, for always supporting us. She says, yay, Patricia Heaton, yay. Wow, that's right, Barbara. And she speaks the truth, just like we do here at the Frontline with Joe and Joe.
Since we're talking about...
Oh, wait, real quick, I forgot one other person. Lou Rabimba's joined. What's up, Lou?
Brother Lou, love it, baby. Since we're talking about movies, a movie is coming out. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called The Hunt. And basically it depicts deplorables, quote unquote, the deplorables, i.e. me, versus...
And you too?
Versus elites. It's a horror movie, and it's getting released after it has been canceled. It's basically uncanceled. It was canceled. Why was it canceled? Because it was going to come out last year during the El Paso and Dayton shootings. So they basically canceled it, and now they're going to release it, and it's coming out March 13th. Basically, it's a horror movie that tells a story about a group of wealthy elites that kidnaps and hunts normal folk from middle America for sport. How nice. How lovely.
You don't think those people are Trump supporters, do you? All those people in middle America and a couple of jamokes here in North Jersey? Of course you are. What do you think the producers are saying? I read the article. The producers are saying, no. We just tried to show how polarized we are. Tried to unify. You got rich elitists that are saying they want to kill people in middle America. You're not being neutral. You're not looking to unify anybody. In fact, if anything, I would say you're looking to incite violence because there's some unhinged people out there that will watch your satirical horror movie and maybe take it seriously. Maybe harm a Trump supporter or somebody they consider to be a Trump supporter for holding positions that Bernie Sanders would disagree with, which makes you deplorable.
Let's get Joe's 100% right. Let's get the exact language for what these folks said. The producer Jason Blum and the screenwriter Damien Lindelof told the Hollywood Reporter that they didn't intend to make a film to exacerbate current political divisions. None of us were interested in taking sides with this movie,
oh, no.
Bloom told the magazine. Lindelof said, "We think that people who see it are going to enjoy it, and this may be a way to shine a light on every serious problem in the country, which is that we are divided. And we think the movie may actually and ironically bring people together."
No, it won't.
Oh, that is great.
Who wrote that, by the way? These guys are writers?
That is great.
Who wrote that crappy line? What are you talking about? You divide people. Now, first of all, nobody's going to tell me these guys are not liberals, number one. Number two, you divide people. A woman, I believe her name is Kristen Day. This is just as an example. I think it was Kristen Day. She heads up a group a group of 21 million people called Democrats for Life. She confronted in a respectful way Pete Buttigieg at a town hall and said, how are you going to appeal to us, perhaps change or moderate the language on abortion in the Democratic Party platform, and so that we feel included in the party. Now, I'm not going to say what he said because it was just a talking point. But what he did tell her was, kick rocks. We don't care. I don't care. It's a woman's choice. She'd kill her baby right up to the day before the baby's born. I don't care. And if you don't like it, screw you. That's really what he said. Hey, look, if Adam Schiff could put words in Donald Trump's mouth, I could put words in Pete Buttigieg's mouth. But my words are actually aptly describe what, in essence, he was telling her. I'm not moderating anything. Too bad. Whereas my 80-year-old Italian mother says, stupid. Okay? That's what it is. That's what they're not looking to unify anybody. The left is not looking to unify. Rob Reiner called us all racist. Alec Baldwin's calling us all fascists. Okay? Who else? Pete Buttigieg said anybody who supports Donald Trump is turning the other way on racism. Who's dividing? Us or them? This is their rhetoric. Bernie Sanders said, no pro-life Democrats. We don't want you. Get out.
So you have to bow to the altar of abortion to be a Democrat.
That's right.
You have to. And if you don't, you cannot be in this party. Can't be in the party. And here's another thing. Their abortion agenda goes to the day before the child is born.
Right.
And every single, like I said, every single one of them is for that.
Remember the abortion issue in Virginia where moron Governor Northam, sorry, Joe and I are not supposed to call people names because we're good Catholic men, excuse me, but he's a moron. Northam said, well, we'll just leave the baby laying on the table and we'll make the baby comfortable while the doctor and the mother decide, yeah, whether or not they're going to kill the baby. We get it, Governor Northam. Okay. But there was a bill at that same time that was being presented in the Virginia legislature that said that was totally acceptable. They shelved it on the heels of that because that obviously got out there and became a big story about, let's say killing babies outside the womb. But the one woman, the Virginia legislator, she said, yeah, no, this is what the language of the law says. If the baby's born because the abortion went wrong, thank God it did and the baby was born, that the mother and the doctor could decide to kill the baby. So my point in bringing that up is that's next. They stop right now at the day before the baby's born, which is atrocious enough as it is. But don't worry, it's coming soon to a theater near you, okay, where when the baby's born, the intent of the mother was to kill that baby, ergo, the baby has no rights, so the baby has to die. That will be part of their agenda. If any of these people, by some demonic forces, get elected in this country.
And it doesn't stop there because then it'll be the old.
Well, they're pushing that too.
They're pushing that now.
Yeah.
But then it'll also be when they have state-run health care, your kid in the womb is identified to be sick, and they'll say, I'm not paying for it.
Right.
You have to get an abortion. That's what the insurance pays for. You see, it doesn't end with this. This is the beginning. This is just the beginning. And I'm not talking about doomsday predictions. This is factual. It's already happening with the old. They don't want to pay for nothing.
Right.
They'll let you die. Some actuary just does the math and says, well, you know, based on our schedules here, you're probably only going to live 2 years. And I know you need a heart surgery. You need heart surgery, but it costs $400,000. And in 2 years, you're probably not going to be here. So guess what? Take a pill.
Go home and die. One of the congressmen from
You're okay
Florida,
with that? I'm not.
Well,
sorry.
The question that people have to ask themselves, and I say this to all you young people out there in particular who might not be fully informed on this. Some of you are, and you're totally in favor of the party of death. God help you. Joe and I and many people are praying for your conversion because you bought into a tremendous evil, okay? But I'm talking about the young people who are misinformed, who are misled by these people. They watch MSNBC and CNN and the Young Turks and people like that. So they buy into a lot of this stuff. I'm going to ask you this, you young people who are not quite sure about socialized medicine, which is what Bernie Sanders wants. If your mother or father is getting older under Bernie Sanders' system, and your mom or your dad is 80 years old and needs that hip replacement or a heart surgery like Joe was talking about, okay? Or let's say end-of-life care, okay, where they're not going to be left to die. They're going to get care until they naturally pass away, all right? Remember this, Bernie Sanders will be dead by then, but the people running that system will be alive and well. And you have to remember that what you're going to have to do to get care for your parent is you're going to have to go ask a bureaucrat for their okay to do it. And the choice you have is very simple. Are you willing to do that? All right, and put your parents in a government plan where a bureaucrat's going to determine life or death questions, or pay for health insurance where the insurance company must pay for your parents' health care, even at end of life.
The sad part is when we throw God out of society, which we have, you see, a lot of secular humanists who don't believe in God will basically say that a person's life has no value when they're old. You see, that's the argument. This is getting into their mind. Secular humanists, this is how they think. The person who put diapers on you and nursed you and educated you and fed you and put a roof over your head, because they're old, they have no more value. That's what a lot of people actually think. And here's another little twist. There's no more meaning when you don't have God in your life. Suffering has no meaning. You see, suffering is redemptive. No one wants to suffer, but all of us do suffer at one time or another. It's part of the human condition. I don't care who you are. You see, as a Catholic, we look at suffering as redemptive because it directs our gaze to God. It directs us to God. In some ways, it forges us in a fire. It purifies us. It makes our thoughts concentrated on what's important. We get focused when we suffer. You see, secular humanists want nothing to do with suffering because they don't believe in God. They don't believe that there's something else outside of this. And that's another underlying current that no one talks about.
Right.
Because these people don't believe. They believe in the here and now. And once your value is basically composed of what you consume in the society, what you produce, and once you can't do either of the two, you have no value.
You're dead.
So now who also believed in this type? Nazis.
Well, yeah. Communists and Nazis.
That's what they did. They killed people.
Right.
They didn't have values. The Nazis killed the gypsies. They killed the handicapped.
They killed
because they had no value.
They killed the mentally retarded.
You see,
They
this is another way of doing that.
Well, you want to piss off a liberal? Just tell them how much they have in common with Nazis and watch them run away with cognitive dissonance because they can't understand how they can hold ideas and propose policies that the Nazis did. We covered this in another show. In other words, environmentalism, eugenics, abortion, sterilization, the whole 9 yards. Their impulse is the same impulse as the Nazis wanted to create a master race. Well, what do you think when you use an example of Iceland? We bring it up all the time on this show. Iceland has 0 incidents of Down syndrome human beings because they killed them all in the womb. They brag about it. It's held up as a model. Look, there's no Down syndrome there. Right, they killed them all. So the left has all this in common with Nazis because Nazis really are on the left. Let's face it. I don't know how they got on the political right. That was a sleight of hand by the political left to put Hitler and the Nazis on the right. No, they were the National Socialists. So let's get it clear. But that's what they're all about. They've earned. Everything Joe just said is true. And because of that, we have to acknowledge that they've earned the title, the party of death. And the culture, Hollywood, advertising, academia, all of it has earned the title, the culture of death. Because that's all they provide. They will bring you death. That's all. Their solution to every problem in the world is less human beings. Whether they need to be killed in the womb, prevented from being conceived through contraception, killed in the womb, killed after they're born, killed when they're old, killed if they're poor and they're in third world countries. Just kill them. And then the world will be set straight. That's really their view. And you want to know something? You listen to them. They actually say that.
And look at this movie a little bit, The Hunt. You're looking at people who are hunting human beings. You know, we've looked at societies. Chile, for one to name one, under Pinochet. He basically eliminated his political rivals. Basically, in the middle of the night, he would take you away and kill you. That's what they're acting out. They say, oh, they could say all this crap. We're looking to unite people. This will be a shining light. Your ass. Give me a break. They're acting out what they'd like to do. There is no doubt in my mind, there is no question in my mind that if you went into the households of some of these people in some of these elite circles, that they would come in and arrest me and my wife for being practicing Catholics.
Absolutely.
And they would not blink an eye as they dragged me to some camp in the middle of Wyoming and took me away from my family. There is no question in my mind that some of these elite people look their nose down on your ideas just because you believe in marriage between a man and a woman.
Right. And you have an historical example of that. I think we brought it up. I forgot which show we brought it up on. Bishop Fulton Sheen would tell the story where the nuns and the children in Russia, right after the revolution, they'd be praying in the church, okay? And the men on horses would come in and they slaughtered the nuns and they slaughtered the children who were praying in church. The children were being prepped for the sacraments and the nuns were praying. And one of the nuns knew Lenin and went to see him. Bishop Fulton Sheen tells this story, okay? And she said to Lenin, "Did you know about this? Or when she said, did you hear about what happened?" He goes, "Did I hear about it? I ordered it." That's the man. Joe's exactly right. We're not making this up. These people are dangerous. Their worldview is dangerous. When your only solution to the problems of the world is death, and we, all of us collectively, we allow this to happen because we put money in their pockets.
You see,
we pay for Hollywood movies.
You know what it is, too? They tolerate people like me and Joe when we were in the minority and we had no power. But under Donald Trump, all of a sudden we're having power, i.e. we're getting judges, i.e. we're gaining influences. Now the game has turned. You see, now they would run us into the sewer if they could. Don't think that they wouldn't. Don't think that these people behind closed doors don't say these things. They despise us. You see, the difference between them and me is I don't agree with your ideas, but I don't want you to be sent to a concentration camp. I'm not going to hunt you in a movie and look to kill you because I don't agree with your ideas. I challenge you, actually. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a debate. I am absolutely confident in the truth, and I'm absolutely confident I'll prevail in that conversation.
Absolutely.
So let's have the conversation.
That's what they don't want to have, because debate and conversation leads to truth. And when you're a liar, you are afraid of the truth. And these people are all liars. You know who we are? You just reminded me of something. When you said, the game has changed. Julius Caesar in the play, right? This was obviously one of Shakespeare's plays, Julius Caesar. In the play, Caesar's dead and it has been assassinated. And Brutus is allowed to go and speak to the crowd. And the crowd's listening to Brutus. He's saying, tyranny is something, and we love Caesar, but he was a tyrant, so we had to kill him again. I used to have the speech memorized. So Mark Antony was given a shot to get up there and eulogize Caesar. And Brutus and Cassius had already fled by that point. You reminded me of that, because when you said the game has changed, Antony gets up there and he appeals to these people and he says to them, did not Caesar love you and all this, right? And he gives them a rousing speech and he turns them. He's like Trump. He turns them against who the real tyrants were, the real elitists who were Brutus and Cassius. Now, again, I'm not going to argue about Roman politics. My point is, Antony ends it where Shakespeare writes it, where he's giving the speech, but then it's Antony speaking to himself. But so the audience here, he says, mischief thou art afoot, take what course thou wilt. That's exactly what you just said. That's exactly what Donald Trump has enabled in this country. It is mischief. We're mischievous guys. We're from North Newark. Why not? Okay. But my point is, but we're mischievous because we want to pick a fight with these people. We want to challenge them to have to fight us, not fight their thuggish ways. Okay, in the street like Antifa, fight in the realm of ideas. You engage in a debate. If you're so damn sure that abortion is a constitutional right of a woman and there's nothing wrong with it, then you should be willing to debate that. If you're so damn sure that marriage can be redefined as anything other than a man and a woman, okay, then you need to debate that. If you're damn sure that the American people are going to just be so wonderful with communism, let's have communism, then you need to hold your ground in intelligent debate. And the second you don't, and then you turn around and you want to bully the rest of us and act like the thugs that you are, then everybody's waking up to the fact that we know that you're cowards. And yes, we're being mischievous. We're pushing your buttons on social media. We're challenging you. We're getting to more people than you are. And you hate it. That's why you make movies like this trash, like The Hunt, to have elitists, rich elitists hunt down deplorables like us. Well, you're going to have to keep going then, because we're not going to stop.
I think that was a good conversation.
Mischief thou art afoot. Take what course thou wilt. I love it. Anyway, you're at the front line with Joe and Joe. Joe Pasillo, Joe Resinello. We're way into the breach. Vinny's joining. Vinny says there's obviously a demonic influence in the rabid thirst for abortion. We couldn't have said it better, Vinny. The lust for the blood of unborn children is through the roof. And PM chiming in down there. As for healthcare, from people like Bernie Sanders, etc., I may not agree with everything Bernie Sanders AOC stands for. However, in matters of healthcare, what is so wrong with free healthcare? Well, the bottom line is it ain't free, PM. That's the whole point. We can argue it more if you want. It ain't free. Somebody's paying for it.
Going to go down.
Quality sucks. A bureaucrat is going to make the decisions that you need to make for yourself and for your family, and the costs are going to go up. Sorry, PM. We're not going to get into the whole thing about that. But no, I want you to provide for the health care for your family and make the decisions that you find deemed necessary for the well-being of your family. And I don't want a bureaucrat in Washington to stop you from doing that. And only private insurance will help you do that.
We do need to do something, but I don't want the state to run it.
That's it. And that's true. PM, there needs to be something done. Absolutely agree with you on that, and costs need to come down. But Bernie doesn't get control, nor do people like him.
Well, speaking of control, Virginia came out with a nice law here that most people probably don't know about. I didn't know about it, actually, until I came across it this week, and I want to share it with you. Virginia's House of Delegates passed a bill to give the electoral votes to the popular vote winner in the presidential election. Interesting.
Who's dangerous, Donald Trump or these people? Go ahead, Joe.
The House bill is 177, and it was passed 51-46 by the Democratic majority in the House. Should the Senate approve it, Virginia will officially become, and I didn't know this existed until I read this, become part of the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. So what is that? This is coming from the bill summary. Anytime there's a bill, because there's a lot of legalese, usually there's like a paragraph, like when you vote and you have like a yes or no on your ballot, they give you like the basically like normal language in it. This is what it says. Under the compact, Virginia agrees to award its electoral votes to the presidential ticket that receives the most popular votes in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. So far, there's 15 states, along with D.C., that have joined this compact. The idea obviously gained momentum in answer to Donald Trump's Electoral College victory over Clinton in 2016, despite her approximate 3 million popular lead. Now, let's talk about why there's an Electoral College.
Please do.
Because if there wasn't an Electoral College, about 8 states would determine the presidency.
That's right.
And the rest of the country be damned. Your vote would mean 0.
Right.
So the founders, in their wisdom, created the Electoral College so every state and every citizen has a voice.
Right.
So these spoiled brats who did not get their way are holding their breath and trying to take the American voice away from you.
Who's dangerous? Them or Donald Trump? If Hillary won the election and got the Electoral College, Donald Trump would have called her on the phone and said, "Congratulations, Hillary." He would have moved on. She has never moved on. The Democrats have never moved on. They know he's going to get reelected. That's why they're pulling this bullshit. Excuse my language, but that's what it is. And they're doing this. You want to see people get violent in the street, which is another reason why the left is doing this. You see Virginia and Virginians vote for Donald Trump, and the electors turn around and they give their electoral votes to Bernie Sanders, let's say. There's going to be major problems in this country. And now one has to question whether or not that's what the left is trying to do, okay? But the fact is, if people feel disenfranchised, it's one thing when you call us all deplorables. But if you're taking away my vote, now I don't think this is going to fly.
Well, the Supreme Court will shut this down.
Right, the Supreme Court's going to shut this down and say that requires a constitutional amendment, and you do not have the numbers for a constitutional amendment. Ergo. Remember, electors are free. Let's remember that. I could be corrected on this. My understanding is electors are free to switch their vote if they want. It's an act of political suicide. You'll never get anywhere in politics in your given state, okay? But you can. Hillary Clinton tried to promote that in the last election. Well, you know, the electors could be swayed. She tried to pick off a couple that might want to fall on their political sword for her benefit. I don't think anybody budged. At least I don't remember anybody did. They're trying to do this on a mass scale. The problem also is, who are the 15 states? I didn't see the article. I don't know.
The list.
But I guarantee you it's New York, California, Oregon, Washington, states that are going to go, that are going to not vote. But they're focusing on Virginia because Virginia is a purple state. It could go either way. Okay, California, it doesn't matter. Whoever the Democrat is going to get the popular vote, and they're going to get the electoral votes. But do you see how far they go? And then they call themselves good Americans, but they can't stand the American process and the electoral process and how it works. The Electoral College, as Joe said, protects the smaller states, the less popular states. We do not have election day in this country. We have 50 individual state elections on election day. That's what we have. That means every state votes for the electors, okay, or votes for the candidate, and the candidate who gets the majority of the votes get all the electors in that state, with the exception of, I think, one district in Maine and Nebraska, okay? Everybody else, all the electors go for the one who won the popular vote. That means that Democrats and Republicans have to go into Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Probably the Democrats go in there and say, I got to talk to all these groups. I got to talk to all these deplorables because that's the way they look at all these people. They took advantage of their votes for years. I have to go. I just want to go to California. I'm gonna go and do a little fundraising in LA. Have a couple drinks. Okay. I'm gonna go up to San Francisco, hang out with Gavin Newsom for a while. Then I'm gonna come to New York and I'm gonna get in with the New York liberal crowd. And that's all I got to do is give speeches there. Guess what? I'm going to win. You will cause a real civil unrest in this country if this ever got off the ground. But do you see the lengths to which they will go? That's why Joe and I are talking about it. You see how far they will go to tell you right to your face, we don't give a crap about you. The Hunt, the movie, you're deplorable, and if we had the opportunity, we'd hunt you down and shoot you in the street because that's what leftists do. Please, everybody, get it through your head. Please, all you 21 million pro-life Democrats, please leave that party. They don't want you. Come into the Republican Party and start pressing for your issues.
Un-American this idea is? Oh, that's why I bring it up. This is as un-American as it gets.
Right.
You know, you didn't get your way. I didn't get my way when Barack Obama won. For 8 years, I had to hold my nose. I would never suggest this.
Right.
You see, this is so un-American. Yet here we are. I have never seen a group of people behave in defeat like this in my entire life. Never. Never. It's sad and it's scary.
Right.
It is scary. Any person who is for this, I dare say, is not an American. They don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in what this country was founded upon. They simply don't.
Well, they've been attacking the Constitution for a very, very, very long time. This is not anything new. This goes back over 100 years. The way they've injected things into the Constitution, the way they've perverted the Constitution with ideas like substantive due process, that they go into the back rooms at the Harvard, at the Critical Legal Studies Department in Harvard University, at Yale Law School, and they argue ideas. When you hear an idea that you know as an American in your heart is a really bad, unconstitutional idea, let me give you an example. Hate speech. Why do I bring that up? Okay, Joe's talking about the Constitution. We have the right to free speech. Doesn't say we have the right to nice speech. Doesn't say we have the right to even true speech. We have the right to free speech. In a free marketplace of ideas, I can say what I want. If you got a problem with it, you can say what you want. We can have an argument. We can have a debate. That's what free speech is all about. So they go into the back room at the universities and say, well, we can't really take away somebody's right to free speech because that's in the First Amendment, right? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
So what do? We're going to come up with an argument. Hate speech. That we could take away. Well, what's hate speech? Anything I say is hate speech. You see the totalitarian impulse in these people, while at the same time they project onto Donald Trump what they themselves are doing. Trump's no totalitarian. He's not a tyrant. They are. But they never had respect for the Constitution. They made up abortion. Everybody knows that. Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg knows that. Liberal constitutional scholars know that. Abortion is made up, not based in the Constitution, but they made it up. Substantive due process, same thing with contraception, same thing with gay marriage, okay? They have not, the Constitution has always stood in their way of achieving their communist goals because the Constitution protects certain rights that we all have that are unalienable. The right to free speech, the right to life, liberty, and property, the right to exercise my religion in the public square. Okay, right to freedom of association. The left hates all that. Free association, that means I hang out with who I want with, and I don't hang out with who I don't want with. Free expression of my religion, that means I vote according to my religious faith when I go and vote for a politician. They don't like that. Free speech, you think they want you to have free speech?
And why isn't the process working, you may say to yourself? Well, the founders were very clear on that as well. They basically said a democracy, I believe it was Jefferson who said this. If it wasn't Jefferson, it was Adams. Basically what they said was a democracy doesn't work with amoral people. You see, God in a society brings a level of morality to the society. We have pushed him out. Our society has been corrupted.
Yep.
We live in a society with the culture is amoral. People are not cared. You know, I used to think people cared about what is fair. No way.
No.
They don't care what's fair. They care what's fair for them.
They want political
How
power.
does it work for me?
Right.
You be damned.
Right.
And that's what this electoral bullcrap is about. It works for me and it doesn't work for you. Tough.
Right.
And that's not what the country was founded upon. And that's being objective. And that is because the democracy doesn't work when morality, God forbid you use that term now. Oh, you're being judgmental. Morality.
Right.
It's my truth. I determine the truth. Says who? Right is right and wrong is wrong.
Truth is not relative, but they've relativized truth. They've relativized.
When morality goes, the democracy goes.
Well, this country, listen, this country's dead right now, or this country's on life support. I don't care when people talk about, well, yeah, but the stock market's doing well, and the market's at 28,000. Okay, fine. Economically, we're doing well. I'm not going to deny that. Okay, but this country is on because of the moral issues that Joe's talking about. How we've caved on the moral issues and we don't stand up for the truth. Okay. Now I'll take it one step further. As Catholic men, certainly, and all Christians should agree. And this country, in order to be safe, should recognize the social kingship of Jesus Christ, so that we have laws that reflect our Christian faith. Okay, that reflect the 10 Commandments. Okay, thou shalt not kill. That includes babies in the womb. Okay. And all these things.
And I'm not apologizing for that either.
Why I got to apologize? Why they want aggressive secularism, as Bill Barr pointed out in a speech at Notre Dame he was warning people about aggressive secularism, and he was attacked left and right. He's trying to impose a theocracy on us. He wants the Pope to be president. That's what they tried to say. You say you don't want theocracy imposed on you. I don't want your atheism imposed on me. So where do we go from there? I'm not opposing theocracy when I say you can't kill babies in the womb. I don't care if the source of that is my religious faith. Scientifically, you're killing a human being. Biologically, you're killing a human being. So I really don't care. And on top of it, even if I can't prove it scientifically, I don't care. It's my view. So when we have the political power to do it, we're going to do it. And screw you. That's the left's attitude. We don't care when we have the power, when we have the judges. We don't care if it's the judges, the Congress, the House, the Senate, the presidency, whatever we have to do to achieve our political goals. All right, we're going to do the same thing and see how you like it. But notice, when that happens, right away, then they turn around and they say, you're not following the Constitution.
Actually, we are.
Right, we are. We follow the Constitution, which means the Electoral College stays in place, Hillary. Too bad you lost. Or as my mother says, it's too bad. You lost. Beat it. Kick rocks. That's all we got to say to her.
Our last story of the
quick
night.
Shout out, Joe. Gornai's joining. What's up, Gornai? My main man. He's down in Virginia. Yeah. Now I know Gornai. Just to let you people know, he is a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, and he is an African American who voted for Donald Trump. Okay. He also voted for Barack Obama, which means that he has an open mind. Okay, and he judges things as he sees them, and he votes according to his conscience. I don't like that he voted for Obama. What am I going to do? Tell him he's crazy, no, or he's deplorable, or he's a scumbag, like the way the left tries? No, he voted, and that's it. I respect the fact that he votes. He voted for Donald Trump. He's an African American who voted for Obama, switched his vote to Donald Trump. Gornai, you're deplorable. Let's go. Love you, G. Love you, baby.
We're going to go to our good friend Joey Biden.
Now, see, you can't escape a front line with Joe and Joe.
Oh, Joe.
Without going to Joe Biden, who really you want to talk about as a campaign.
He's unhinged.
He's on his last legs. Joe, if I know you want to get into this. If he wins the nomination, okay, number one, the party of death is the party of corruption, and he'll win the nomination because they made it happen that way. There is no way this guy could survive a legit primary process with the things he says and does. Joe's going to give you just another example.
Joe Biden, I'm sure you heard this week, but I want to dissect it from a little different angle. Joe Biden had an exchange with a 21-year-old student from Mercer University in Georgia. And as you probably know, he called her in jest A lying dog-faced pony soldier. Let me stop right there. What the heck is that?
I heard.
What is a lying dog-faced pony soldier?
I heard it was a line from a John Wayne movie. I was busy. I was going to Google it, and it sounds like that's plausible. Like John Wayne must have gone, well, you're a lying dog-faced pony soldier, or something like that. She's 21.
I'm 49. I don't know.
I don't know what it is. I seen the searchers. I don't think he said it in that. Okay, but he quoted a line from a movie, and let's say it was a reference to a line in a movie. She's 21. She asked about your disastrous performance in Iowa. She is a Democrat. She's no plant. She wasn't put there by Putin or the Trump administration. And he called her a lion, dog-faced pony soldier, and yet somehow, some way, he's still the front runner, according to conventional wisdom.
Well, Bernie actually is the front runner now, but he's still in it. And this is, I want to break down the little back and forth between Madison Moore and Joe Biden, and basically then we could have a little discussion on it. Basically, this is how it went down. So, the former vice president asked her, have you ever been to a caucus? When Moore claimed she had, Biden asserted that she had been mistaken. No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. Even though the 77-year-old vice president made the remark in jest, Moore told, and this is the angle I want to go on with this discussion, Moore told the Daily Mail on Monday that the experience was nothing short of demeaning. Now, keep this in mind. She's a 21-year-old female. This is what she said. It was kind of humiliating to be called a liar on national TV by the former vice president. Instead of answering that question in a straightforward manner, she was basically questioning how he did very poorly in Iowa, and that's a fair question.
It's a completely fair question.
You know, and she was very respectful. His immediate response was to attempt to invalidate me by exposing my inexperience. He has been performing extremely poor in the race, and that fact he couldn't just answer in a straight way. My question, he answered by bullying me and intimidating me, just exacerbating the fact that he's doing poorly. Now, do you imagine that Donald Trump called a 21-year-old girl a dog-faced pony soldier?
Whatever that is. The outrage, the chest beating.
Where are the feminists? Where are you liberal feminists who love women?
Okay, let's get it straight.
Where are you? You know where you are? You're all going to vote for Joe Biden, who may get the nomination. Donald Trump is the orange guy. He's the bad guy.
Right.
He hates women. And here you have a guy bullying a 21-year-old girl, calling her derogatory names, and no one says boo.
No, they didn't say a word. Joe Biden, I mean, what did you say earlier? I wanted to make a point about, feminists. Let's get it straight about feminists, okay? They're not for women. We're not going to argue about how abortion is destructive of women. Leave that aside for a second, because it is. They're not for women anymore. The National Organization of Women and Planned Parenthood and the National Abortion Federation, okay, they are for abortion. Get it straight. They are a political wing of the Democratic Party and their agenda, which is for abortion, not women. They are for transgenderism, not women. They are for the LGBTQRSTV rage mob agenda, not women. If they were for women, they would defend this girl. If they were for women, they would listen to the women in the 21 million people who are Democrats for life, okay? Pro-life Democrats. They are not for women. They are for an agenda. Please, let's get that straight.
I'm glad you said that.
Please, let's get that straight.
I was just going to bring up that point. The tribe is greater than the person. The agenda is greater than the person. They're not for women, nor are they for you. They're for their agenda. We covered a story a while back, Andy Nago. He's a gay conservative journalist. He was beaten up by Antifa on the streets of Portland.
Went to the hospital.
Where were all the gay activists?
Yeah.
And
Stonewall was going on at the time.
Where are all the gay activists?
The celebration of Stonewall riots.
Not a single solitary word.
They didn't say boo.
Nothing.
They didn't say they beat up on that poor gay man because he's gay. No, they didn't. You didn't say a word. Now, what's he less gay than you because he's conservative? Okay, he deserved to get the crap beat out of him because he disagrees with your political ideology. Well, that's the answer, isn't it? Those 3 girls in Connecticut who are suing the Connecticut Athletic Association under Title IX of federal law because they don't want biological males competing in track meets against the girls, winning 15 out of 17 championships. And these girls who are breaking their butt to become great at track, okay, are getting undermined by an agenda. Those girls are deplorable. Don't you get it? Now NAF and Planned Parenthood, they don't care about those girls. They care about those boys who think they're girls, yet they call themselves feminists. But they're defending boys who think they're girls over the girls who are breaking their ass trying to become better track athletes. Do you see the insanity here? Joe and I think we're pretty smart guys, and it makes our head spin. But do you see what's going on? They're not interested in women. They're interested in an agenda.
And if you're in the way of it, they will
ground you into dust. We will always reference the novel 1984 by George Orwell. Winston, picture a boot stomping on a human face if you want to see the future of humanity. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what this is all about. A boot on your face. These are communists. Communism is not dead. It is alive and well in our culture, in our politics, in Hollywood, in the media, in academia. It just manifests itself in a different way, but it's all Marxism, cultural Marxism, communism. And you stand in the way, you're gone. America is not immune from this. People are waking up to this. These people are dangerous, while at the same time, the guy who's actually trying to protect our rights, Donald Trump, is the guy they call the tyrant. They're the tyrants. That's the truth, Joe.
That was a good conversation.
Yeah, that was fun and exciting. At the front line with Joe and Joe, 8 or 8:30 at times on Sunday night, Facebook Live. We want to ask you all to please share our videos with your friends. Follow us here. Follow our page on Facebook, and please follow Holy Faith Media on YouTube. And we'd ask you to give a chance to the Crusade channel. Mike Church, who runs the Crusade channel out of New Orleans, has a lot of great content, a lot of red meat for all us conservatives out here, okay? Some really good shows and some really good hosts. Joe and I have been blessed that we now have a weekly slot on Monday nights from 5 to 8 on the Crusade channel at crusadechannel.com. Their online chat room, which you could log into without subscribing, is at crusadechannel.com/chat. And he's offering a 30-day free trial for those who want to check out the content of the show. Check out Frontline with Joe and Joe on the show, and Rick Barrett and Tim Gordon and his brother Dave Rules for Retrogrades. Mike Church is old school. Mike Church is a guy who's been doing it for a very long time. He tells the truth in an entertaining way. He's got a funny show, very interesting and engaging. We would encourage you all to go on crusadechannel.com, at least sign up for the 30-day free subscription so that you can see what it's all about. We're fully convinced that what you do, if you like the Frontline with Joe and Joe, once you do, you will subscribe to the Crusade channel, and we would encourage you to do so. Absolutely.
So remember, our conversation is your conversation, and it's going on everywhere. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be here on Facebook next Sunday around 8-ish. Sometimes we're a little late nowadays. But thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you next time. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Frontline with Joe and Joe. Joe Pasillo, joined as always by Joe Resinello. And once more, dear friends, on Facebook on Sunday night at 8:30. And once more, dear friends, we are going into the breach. Oh, you're Catholic? Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Frontline with Joe and Joe. You acted like an American. Okay? Now, there's a number of different things that have to be done in this country to change the culture, which will in turn change the politics.
And the culture's a swamp. Because that is not a Catholic teaching.
Right.
And the cafeteria is closed, my friend.
Yeah. Joe Pasillo, joined as always by Joe Resinello. And once more, dear friends, we are going into the breach. He tells the truth, just like we do at the front line with Joe and Joe on Sunday nights, 8 o'clock, Facebook Live. We got a great show for you tonight because, as we always say, the left is teeing it up for us, and we're Barry Bonds standing at home plate, ready to knock their lies right into San Francisco Bay.